Ja, välkomna hit till Yesbox insamlingsevent för Ukraina som vi anordnar ihop med Beetroot. Och framför mig har jag Gustav Henman. Välkommen.
Tack så mycket.
Jättekul att ha dig här. Du är en av grundarna till Beetroot.
Det stämmer.
Vad är ni för slags företag?
Skulle vi inte köra på engelska?
Jo.
För
What kind of company are you?
We are an IT outsourcing and IT education company, and we're founded in 2012. It was me together with another guy from Gothenburg, Andreas Flodström. We met at Chalmers.
Very Gothenburg.
Very nice place to meet.
Yeah.
And realized we have a lot of common interests. So surprisingly easy and natural, we decided to move to Ukraine together and start up this company.
And you have like 600 employees in Ukraine, if I understand it correctly?
Yes, we've been growing a lot over the years. And it's been, as it is always is when you build a company, it's been a bumpy ride, up and down. And we already been through one crisis in 2014 with the revolution and the following war that broke out. So we have, we are in many ways kind of a normal company. We've been successful, but we've also been in an environment which is very unusual, I think, and we have had to deal with risks that are unusual. And this is something that colored everything we've been doing, and also our relation to Ukraine that has been developing in parallel to sort of the new Ukraine developing.
And in this crisis, the war with Russia, you started a fund?
Yes. So we are really spread out around Ukraine, 9 offices, and then, as you said, in total 600 people. So there's a lot of people. It's very spread out. And we have, of course, a huge network in Ukraine and kind of an infrastructure built down there. And we're also we have a very self-managed organization. We've been experimenting a lot with this scaling up without building a hierarchy. And this means that there's a lot going on in many places and a lot of things happening organically. So what we've been doing is that now when the war broke out, we realized that we are in a really good position to support Ukraine by raising funds through our network, clients, friends, partners, and so on, and then channeling this through our normal infrastructure and team in Ukraine down to initiatives, help initiatives on the ground in Ukraine. Very much grassroots, also very much self-managed initiatives that are very need-based. And I think this is how Ukrainian people work a lot in general. They have these communities and self-organizing. So through our network, we reach out and we let groups apply to our fund to request funding. And that thought came to us just within a few days after things broke out, and then we've been developing this for 1 month.
So what kind of organization have you been helping mostly?
So we have partnered with a foundation in Stockholm, Joka Arma Nostra. They're governed by Alpcot, a company listed on the Swedish Stock Exchange. And they help us to receive donations. And they have a focus on vulnerable families and kids. which is very much a focus we would like to have as well. So that was a good fit. So we are mostly in food, transport, and medicine. That's the kind of project we are supporting, and especially then directed towards these groups. And we have supported a lot of small medical centers, like popping up with some equipment and medicine, and especially, medicine that is hard to get, and also with connecting a few of these to help them use each other's transport networks and supply networks to get the medicine there. We have supported transport for transporting injured people from hotspots and the front line, mostly civilians then, like sort of private ambulances, you could say. We have also supported shelters, including our own shelters. We have a few. We kind of converted a few of our offices to shelters where where's like temporary living space for our employees with families and friends. And then we also support a few other initiatives running shelters around Ukraine.
Good work.
Thanks.
And we at Yesbox, we consider ourselves as part of your network, so we are going to raise fundings for your projects too, starting now. And we have an audience here today, so I just wanted to ask you in the audience if you have any questions.
I would also like to say a huge thank you for you that you support us. Thank you from Beetroot and from Ukraine, and it's super appreciated, and it's gonna contribute with a lot of help.
I think we are thanking you, but so yeah, we have a question.
Yeah, my name is Peter. It's great to hear, and I just want to hear. Can you give us an example of a case where it worked from A to Z, all the way where they got the goods or the money, and your dream scenario, what we could do if you dream big?
Yeah, good question. So we have a cool case where we, through a connection in Odessa, we know these guys who they're suing sleeping bags because that's really needed in shelters, because there's like super basic need, like a place to sleep in a warm place, and then everybody who ever slept in a sleeping bag knows how cozy that is. So it's to just from scratch sew sleeping bags, and I think they have produced a few thousand already, and we are one of the main sponsors of this project. And then they distribute this to shelters locally. And this is, as long as now what I know now is that they have a lack of materials. So now next step is that we should also start to support not only this but other projects with transport from the EU. Now we've mostly been focusing on aid on the ground and money to these projects, but we're going to connect also logistics to it, because soon more and more lack of supplies is a bigger problem than lack of money. So to be able to scale that up, we will probably need to help them to get the material needed. And the other part of the question about how to scale up, what we're doing is that we're working very much like iterating this. So we're starting with a small sum of aid to each new initiative that we would like to support, and then we ask them to come back with documentation and some stories and photos and show them that they can do impact with this. And then they come back to us, and if successful, we can fund them more. So we are already now in the second funding round of a few projects, and there could of course be more follow-up rounds, and then you can also increase the amount you donate. I mean, just like any startup funding, you could say that you take it step by step based on the need and based on that the team proves that they know what they're doing. So in a good scenario, we can scale up by developing the relationships toward these projects we're funding and help them to grow.
How you choose these projects or organization you give them the support? How they coming in contact with you? The first step, if they are local there, how it is going? If they are here, so please, can you explain it a bit more?
Yep. So all the projects we're supporting, they are local in Ukraine, and we have been spreading this through our network, like through all our employees and partners around Ukraine, and been spreading the word. And we would like to keep it there, so we always have a reference person. So when you apply, you need to tell us who is your reference, how did you hear about this? So that's one sort of criteria, that we need to have a trusted source. And then, as I said, we have a special focus on vulnerable families and kids, meaning that we have priority on that. So if, for example, we have a lot of projects focused more on military aid, or like applications focused on military aid and supporting the soldiers and its territorial defense. And I mean, that's of course also needed, but that's less prioritized than supporting our main target group. And then we also look at it if it is scalable. If we see that this is something we could continue to support, because we want to be. We already realized this is a marathon and not a sprint. So we have a scoring system where you get points based on how you fill these different criterias.
It's me again. Your employees in Ukraine, are they without job? They cannot work? They have no broadband? What's the situation with your employees and their families?
So right now it's already stabilizing at a quite good level. I think last figure I saw was 95% can work, but then it's also a question of the productivity level or sort of workability, and that can go up and down a bit. I mean, some people in some of the cities they really need to, I mean, do breaks and run down to the shelters when you have alarms going, and that kind of interruptions, of course, that disrupts your focus, and sadly that's affecting a lot, and also just mentally to focus. So the productivity level is a bit lower, but we also have we're really so proud of the team that they can focus and they prioritize working and they really can do it. So we have around 100 people who left Ukraine, mostly women, since men cannot leave right now, and then also many who left or who moved to the west. We have many offices in central and eastern. So our two offices in Ivano-Frankivsk and Lviv, there we have a lot of people right now, and they also work as shelters.
Bilal, Support Group Network. I have a question regarding, when in case of war, it's not easy to coordinate the collaboration on grassroots level. How are you coordinating and making sure that you are not giving initiatives or small organizations that are doing the same thing or for the same people, so that it's a bigger majority of people are being are getting help, and not the same people are getting the same thing through different actors? Have you thought about this?
Yeah, so that's I mean, when things need to, it happens organically and needs to happen fast and so on. Of course, can be situations like that, but that's why we really start small. We have our sort of initial start support is $1,000. And then you need to show and document what you do with this, and also who you help, and so we can get a view of this, so we know enough to be able to with certainty support you more or not. But we are also very geographically spread, so we have very few initiatives in the same field in the same place. So we're trying to keep the spread, and also trying to keep focus on zones where the help is really needed. I don't know if this was answer to your question.
So today we're starting the fundraising. For how long will this campaign be going on, and when will we present the results, Linda?
It will go on until Easter, so we will give a big, is it called Easter egg, even in English, with the result to you at Beetroot when Easter starts. So we have a few days now to raise money, and the Swish number that you will see on the screen is the number where you can donate money for this cause. And we are hoping that you all give all you can to help the Ukrainian people.
Wow, thanks a lot.
Thank you. I think we have another question.
Yes,
seems like
you
it.
have. Now when it's coming so much women and kids, in 20,000 already, I guess, and we're counting in a couple of 100,000 maybe. I mean, do you have any project started for those arriving in Sweden yet, or is that just you would like to be on the ground in Ukraine only?
Yeah, since we have a quite a unique position in Ukraine with our establishment there, so we are focusing our efforts there. We're trying to do the things that we can do that nobody else can do, or at least few others can do. So we're gonna keep that focus. I mean, there's so much help and support needed in so many places, which is which makes it. But I think you should the way to have high impact is to focus on what you are good at and where you have a good position. So that's why we will continue to support on the ground in Ukraine.
Okay, I have another question also. Is there any certain materials or things you're really asking for now? But because that could be good for us to know. What you're aiming for. You said this sleeping bag. That's one example. So we can maybe think about that.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of different things. Of course, there are certain medicines, and exactly which those are, we need to talk to the help initiative groups. But that's a huge need. There are fuel is a problem. Fuel. I mean, there are a lot of transports happening, and the needs to happen. But it was already, I mean, after just a few days of the conflict, it was a huge lack of fuel. So That's a limiting factor right now. And then, there are. It's also I've been in contact with a few friends and contacts, like entrepreneurs running, doing transport of things and collecting things, transporting things, coordinating things in mostly Poland. And it's a huge. Now I think now it's starting to the coordination starting to work better, but it's been a huge mess there with warehouses just full of things unsorted in piles. And I mean, the good thing is that people want to help, and there's a lot of aid coming there, but it's also very unstructured. So one thing that is needed is just coordination in the neighboring countries, and just people who knows logistics and how to set up a warehouse and a reloading terminal and these things. So, and then you actually have a lot of supplies needed are just lying there in the neighboring countries, and I mean, a lot are now reaching Ukraine, but it's also the limiting factor there is coordination and transport, is my understanding.
Thank you. I think we are out of questions, and we have so much information about you right now. We have another question. It's okay.
Okay. So I have a friend, he's a CEO for an internet company. He wanted to come, but he could not, and they have good services. Can the IT companies provide anything, or it's just people in general and companies in general?
So another thing you could do as an IT company is to support us with the teachers, because we are running Beetroot Academy. We've been doing that already since 2015 in Ukraine, and we are helping people to enter IT, to get a basic education, to be able to get the first trainee or internship job as a developer. And we already been teaching IDPs, like internally displaced in Ukraine, together with UNDP, and we also been supported by SIDA for many years down there. So we have experience particularly educating refugees, and now we have a new initiative directed towards Ukrainians in Europe who came here as an effect of the war, where we're gonna raise funds for scholarships to finance education, IT education for Ukrainians through our Beetroot Academy. And this is also, of course, addresses the lack of developers, the escalating lack of developers in the world. So we are doing everything we can to make these two problems meet, so to speak.
Yes. I think we are out of questions now, so I say thank you again, and thank you to everyone who has been switching so far. We continue the fundraising until Easter, as I told you before, and thank you very much for your time, for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for supporting us.
Also, we had an excellent disc jockey in the beginning called Christian Saavedra, who will finish this broadcast with music, and you are contributing with your time and skills today. Thank you for that. Yesbox is open for everyone who has an idea that they want to develop. It could be about this. It could be about Ukraine or the people coming from Ukraine. But also, if you want to start a company, if you want help with that, Yesbox is open for everyone. We are in Gamlestaden, and we have a website, of course, where you can find us. We will link to the website from this broadcast too. So I hope to see you, and yeah, thank you so much.